You are listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Heyo, how is everybody tonight? Episode 9 of season 15. Well, just me tonight, guys. Unfortunately, Alex had to tend to some family emergency, so he's unable to join this evening. And I'm still waiting to hear back from our guest. The pitfalls of doing live radio. Yes. So you're stuck with me. And without a guest so far. Hopefully, Carol will join us soon. If not, I might just have to open up the lines or something along those lines to I guess fill the 2 hours, 2 hours or more of the show tonight. I popped in to our YouTube channel here for those of you watching on YouTube. For those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, I popped in on the YouTube channel earlier this afternoon to sort of promo the show tonight, and everything was good to go. But unfortunately, so far, I have not heard back from Carol. So there you go. We'll give it a few. We'll give it a few minutes, anyways. If we don't hear anything, then I'll probably just open things up. What else are we gonna do, right? You can't do a scheduled show without the guest. I mean, you can, but you can't do that exact show. So here I am on the spot. Thank you. No, that's just the way it goes, right? Yeah, I've been through this a million times, but anyways, yeah, our guest this evening was supposed to be Carol Malone, who has employed who employs forensic sciences while investigating the paranormal, which is intriguing. And one method she uses on top of that is also that's pretty intriguing that I would like to know more about, and that is the the magic mind. I think it's called a, uh, a, a technique or contraption. I don't know that supposed to enhance your psychic abilities. How that plays out, I don't know, but I know they used this technique um, years ago in research, or sorry, to as a therapeutic sort of thing for people who were suffering from ADD and ADHD and stuff like that. So apparently they had some really promising positive results from it. So in terms of using it to heighten your psychic ability, I'd like to know more about that. And until Carol shows up, I'm gonna have to read about it. And sucks when this happens because I feels for you guys because you guys look forward to the show. You want to know more, especially I want to know about why. You know, not why, but this whole thing with the Paranormal Hall of Fame. What is that? I didn't know there was such a thing. And what does one have to do to be inducted into the Paranormal Hall of Fame? Do you have to have so many investigations under your belt? Do you have to invent some sort of unique technique? Do you have to be a personality on a paranormal TV show? I want to know. Tell me, folks. What does it take to get into the Paranormal Hall of Fame? Hey, Sab, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Nice chatting with you this afternoon. Hey, we might be chatting later on. If the guest doesn't show up, I'm going to have to open up the lines, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll hear from Carol soon. Carol Malone is supposed to be our guest this evening, and for some odd reason, I have not heard back from her. So, like I said, we'll give her a few minutes, and no hide or hair from her. Then we'll just move along. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. I'm just checking up on a status update. Nothing yet. So that's unfortunate. I was looking forward to having her on. And once again, Alex is not going to be joining me. He had to tend to a family emergency, so everything's okay. Just he just had to tend to that, so he was unable to do the show this evening. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be back next week for our last show, like our last official radio show of 2022, before we take our Christmas and New Year's hiatus break, and we're back in the new year. But we were thinking, we probably will do a couple shows on YouTube over the holidays, YouTube only. And one of those shows, or a couple of those shows, depending on how things go, will be the Friday Night Howls Rising. We had so much fun doing it a couple of Fridays ago, and it was good to see people like Percy, who was a regular and a really good friend of Garris, a really good friend of Garris, and it was really really cool to see him and catch up and see what he's been up to. So hopefully and getting messages from people saying that they enjoyed it, and they it helps because people are still grieving, obviously, for the fact that Gareth has passed away. I can't believe that Gareth is no longer with us. And our good friend Gareth, but for those who are listening who may not know Gareth Davies of the Mindset Podcast, who's been on our show several times in the past, passed away a little while ago. And Friday Night Howls were something that he enjoyed doing, adding content to his YouTube channel, the Mindset Podcast on YouTube. And it was just an evening of letting loose, just talking about whatever with people that from different parts of the world, and just sort of like our dark discussions that we have, where we just run with the topics and let them run, just let them go nuts and see where they end up. And it's really intriguing when you start a topic, and by the end of the night. Hey Sue, how are you? Thanks for joining us. It was it's really really neat to see where it ends up at the end of the 2 hours or 3 hours, or how we used to do these things back in the BTR days. We used to go on for hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and we used to be able to switch over to somebody else's channel. We start on our channel, and then part two, quick, go over to so and so's channel for another couple hours of. We'd be going all night. It'd be a marathon. I miss those days. I really do. I really missed doing those marathons. Hey, it helped when you were working nights and you're able to stay up all night. It's kind of hard now, but I do miss them. And some of the topics, some of the people that were on them, and some of the discussions were just phenomenal. Just very, very in depth, enthralling, and just mind blowing to think. You know, it's so many, not just one perspective, but so many perspectives, And when they all collide and they all banter, and it's really neat where they go, where it's wow, it's incredible. And I miss those conversations. And like I said, uh, when Gareth would come on, he came on a few times for the dark discussions. Well, we used to do the lockdowns before, just when COVID kicked in, and wow, some of the conversations were just really phenomenal, really, really out there. And yeah, you might think we're crazy, but it doesn't matter. We don't care. It's You have to think, the mainstream media will say, you're a free thinker? Well, you shouldn't be spreading that kind of information. That's false information. Bullshit. Who gives a shit what you think? I mean, you should be able to think freely. And I hate thinking with regulation. Give me a break. You never, you know, that's the approach I take with the, when you're investigating the paranormal, like I do. I think outside the box. I don't like thinking, inside that box, because I feel that we're not going to get anywhere. We haven't got anywhere in hundreds of years that we've been doing this. We haven't gotten anywhere. It's so fucking stagnant. It's so fucking stagnant. And you really do have to start employing these radical sort of ideas. Not saying that you have to be silly about it. I mean, there's a lot of silliness out there. Just just uh, you know, stuff that just you're like, I can't even think of a word for it because it's just so fucking stupid. There you go. Stupid. Hi Jamie, how are you? So I mean, there you go. It's this, uh, people just when they do things, just you just scratch your head, go, but as mentioned earlier, like I said, nothing yet from our guest that was supposed to be this evening, Carol Malone. I haven't heard back from her. So, I mean, everything seemed to be fine. She was ready to go. She's probably just forgotten. Wow, that's very professional. Sorry. But hey, that's the way things go. I'll probably just open this up very soon. Let me just see. I just want to double check to make sure. Yeah, nothing. Nothing, which is a shame. I was really looking forward to asking her about the Paranormal Hall of Fame. The Paranormal Hall of Fame. Do you guys know anybody in the Paranormal Hall of Fame? I don't. I think, well, Carol is the only person that I know of. I don't think I've ever even looked into it, to be honest. The Paranormal Hall of Fame. Can't say I have. Didn't know it existed. It's there. It's a real thing. But what is it? I don't know. I have to look. That's why I wanted to talk about it. And again, Alex will not be joining us this evening because he had to tend to a family matter. So he'll be back next Sunday, I'm sure, for our final show of 2022, radio wise, with New Visions Radio, our final show until the new year. But like I said, that sort of diatribe I was on, we were thinking about continuing with the Friday night Howl reboot, if you will, because we had a lot of fun with it. And like I said, we would like to keep in touch with Percy and others that and sort of provide a platform for those who miss it. We all miss it, and of course it's got nothing to do with trying to rip Gareth off. No, God, that's the last thing. It's continuing on a tradition that he created. You know, he brought together a lot of people, and a lot of people who are always in the chat here, always on the show every once in a while, here. People like Matt and others, who have been on the Friday Night House, Justin, and others. So we were thinking, uh, you know, maybe once a month, maybe a couple times a month. Anyways, I'm sure we'll probably do one or two in December to, you know, celebrate the Christmas season, if you will. Ring in the new year too. You know what I mean? Just, I'm sure we'll have fun with it, and that's what it was meant for. It was meant to, sort of let people loose and just talk about whatever, and enjoy the 2-3 hours, whatever. It was fun. But okay, I think I've bantered on enough. I don't think we're going to hear from Carol. So I'm going to open up things. Yeah, I'll open up things. Why not? For those who may want to join. Let's see here. I'm just going to make sure everything is cool on that end. And sure, I don't think anybody is anybody. I'd like to get your thoughts on the Paranormal Hall of Fame. The paranormal, yeah, just click the link if you want to join. By all means, would love to hear from you. Um, so let me just pin it in the YouTube. There we go. And there it is. So if anybody'd like to join, by all means, you're more than welcome. Again, it doesn't look like our guest is going to be here this evening. So, yeah. And yeah. So yeah, like, okay, here. Let me see. I'm gonna look into this Paranormal Hall of Fame here right now. Let's see here. Oh, okay. There's an actual website. I'll share it. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. So this seems legitimate. So I'll share it in the chat for everybody who wants to look into it. That's what I'm looking into, Mars. Where it is. I'm just looking. The website's there. So okay, to the people. Okay, so hello and welcome to the Paranormal Hall of Fame. This organization was formed to give thanks and credit due to the people in the paranormal industry in all genres of the paranormal, both past and present. The Paranormal Hall of Fame is a factual, merit-based system recognition of persons' achievements for all inductees in a variety of genres and categories. There is no voting for inductees due to the fact we are factual, merit-based. Blah 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 blah. Our researchers vetting look at the factual merit of the individual invention contribution, along with documented proof, much like forming a Wikipedia page. The Paranormal Hall of Fame was created to preserve the facts and merits of the paranormal industry for generations to come. Research and vetting is conducted by Galaxy exclusive research department coordinator Randy James. No, can't be. It says R. James. Tell me that's not Randy James. All current inductees have been vetted and certified as legitimate inductees. Debris Pinbrook installed as president and Ron Corner installed as vice president. If you know somebody that qualifies, or if you do visit our website and fill out the form. Okay, guys, please recommend me. Oh, but there you go. There's the Hall of Fame, and you can click the link there in the chat. It is www.paranormalhalloffame.org. All right, let's see if we got the okay, inductees. Oh wow. I'm looking at the inductees right now. Rosemary Ellen Guiley's in there. I did enjoy her stuff for research. Ghost hunting. Of course, Raymond Bayless is in there, and interesting. Charles Fort's in there. Aristotle. And of course, our guest, who was supposed to be on the show this evening, Carol Malone. Let's see, look at her page. The first person to use forensics combined with the paranormal. She also is the only person in the world to have invented the mind machine. Now that kind of, I'm kind of puzzled by that. The mind machine is the only invention created that increases your psychic ability. Now I hope this is not the mind machine that they used in with research for people who had ADD and ADHD years ago. So I hope to think that she's not taking the credit for that. But I'm looking. Okay, so inductees search psychic. Edgar Casey. Oh, there you go. Blavatsky's in there, of course. Demonologist. Oh, come on, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Hulser's in there, of course. I'm laughing because religious based, and I really don't think. I don't know. That's a whole another ball game show that we've been on. So many, the topic that we've done so many times on demonology and demon possession and demonic entities, stuff like that. I know many of you do believe know our beliefs, our stance on that, and again, based on my investigation and research. Cryptozoology. Let's see. Interesting. And of course, for radio, the immortal Art Bell. The immortal Art Bell. And Joseph Denninger, who is the host of a radio show called The Ghost Hour. And I remember that. That was a long time ago. I remember listening to archives of that show. But who doesn't know Art Bell, right? I'm bantering all by myself, guys. Come on, somebody join me. So that's the paranormal. Okay, where are they? I'm just looking to see where they're based. If they have something to tell you, contact me. No, just there's nothing in terms of they take donations. There's nothing in the about us, our vision, what we do, our community. No, I don't know where it's based, so I'm assuming it is. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's an online organization, so that it doesn't have a base, if you will. But R. James, that hopefully that's not Randy James. James Randy. No, it wouldn't be. No, it's R. James. Sorry. My mistake. Anyways, there you go. That's the Paranormal Hall of Fame. Yeah. Hey Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, like I said, our guest is not here this evening. unfortunately. Yeah. And and yeah, it's I'm just checking to see again if there's been any sort of activity with there. Nothing. That's really too bad. No. And Alex is unable to make it in this evening due to a family emergency. So, yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back next week. Um, yeah, I'll probably go on for a little bit longer, I guess. But I, hey, look it, we were expecting a guest this evening, so it kind of kiboshes the live show, uh, which kind of sucks because I was looking forward to it. Um, yeah, and I didn't really prepare for a. I should have had Plan B, but unfortunately, most of the times the guests do show up, and yeah, really, really, really sad to say the least. Oh man, but and you guys, I'm sure are not wanting to listen to me banter for 2 hours about nonsense. I'm just trying to think. Eh, yeah, if anybody would like to join, the link is at the top of the chat, and just double checking here. I gotta make sure. Yeah, it's really too bad. I was looking forward to having her on. Uh, so okay, let me just look at this. I'm looking. I'm gonna go look at their Facebook page now, the Paranormal Hall of Fame, and I'm just looking to see. I wanted to mention too that unfortunately, I got news of another former guest who was on the show, Linda Godfrey, who was, you know, who did a lot of research on, especially the dogman of Michigan and several other cryptozoology, zoology sort of type creatures, sightings, and whatnot. She's written a lot of books, American Monsters, and so on and so on. Passed away uh, today or yesterday. She was on the show a few years ago. Super nice lady. And I was able to share my experience, experience that I had with her to get her just on it. And she was super nice about it. But sad, another guest that we've had on the show that's sadly no longer with us. And there was times when we kept saying, well, we should have Linda back on, but we never got around to it. So it's unfortunate, very unfortunate. Yeah, I mean that list is growing, but I mean this is what happens when you do a radio show for so long. I mean this is January will mark our official 15th season. August, I believe. August will be officially our 15th anniversary of doing this show. We are hold on a sec here. We are having a gathering. In fact, October next year, October 21st. Um, we're having a gathering for you guys, for everyone who's interested in joining us. Sort of like the mindset meetups. This is going to be sort of like that, a gathering, and inspired from Gareth, obviously, because he kind of said, "Hey, you guys should do that," and we were thinking about doing something like that. Never got around to doing it, and hey, yeah, let's plan it. And Gareth was talking about popping on up here, and that would have been cool, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But we're still going to do it. We'd love to see you guys out. If you guys, whoever can make it out to it, I know it's very expensive to travel right now. I get that, but if you guys are in the area that time of the year, come on and see us. Join us. We'd love to um, see you guys. So again, more details as they come down the pipeline. Venue has yet to be set, and we're talking about having a special T-shirt for the a special T-shirt made up for that gathering. And may we might eventually after that put it on our website, on our merch site. Guys, if you haven't grabbed the T-shirt or anything, please, anything, you guys purchase anything from our merch site, it totally goes back to running our show here, because Alex and I, all money put towards this come out of our pockets, and we don't have a Patreon site or anything like that. We haven't been begging for money or blah blah blah. But I mean, yeah, it does help. Every little penny helps with running our show, and improving it. And in fact, we're always wanting to hear from you guys on things you'd like to see on the show. Guests and topics and so on, stories. Your stories. If you have a story to tell, we'd love to hear it. You know, um, you could contact us, let us know about a story you might have had. Sorry, an experience you might have had. We would love to hear about it. Yes, thanks, Melissa, for putting that in chat. Absolutely, yeah. So if you can grab a shirt or whatever, by all means. And and again, everything goes 100% of the sales go right into the show. We don't pocket any of it at all. It goes right back into the show for the monthly, because we pay monthly for new visions and stuff like that. So any equipment or anything else that we need to improve the show, like I said, like we have with Streamlink, or sorry, StreamYard. Uh, we now have upgraded that based on our own pockets, because we felt, hey, this is something that we need to do at the show now. It's increasingly changing. Things are increasingly changing. Uh, so we felt that changing the show's format a little bit. Yeah. Uh, and it's time consuming now, trying to get the archives up on the on our YouTube channel. I mean, slowly I've been putting up some archives, nocturnal vaults, if you will. And one of them, the latest one is the UFO Ricky one. If you haven't listened to it, it is certainly quite unique. And I'll put the link out there for those of you guys. And guys, if you're listening via New Visions Radio, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please, by all means, come over to the YouTube channel and subscribe, because that's where a lot of our archives are going to be housed. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. That is our good friend David Ferrant. God bless his soul. Something he stole from Sean Manchester, the evil cabal, and we felt it was only fitting that we, with his consent, we used it as a, you know show meme, if you will, or a show thing to describe us the best, I suppose. Do we really vomit in churches? No, we don't really vomit in churches. We don't really, uh, you know, go on fire if we don't burst out in flames or anything like that. We don't. It's all in good fun. Yes, satanic Alex. Yeah, we don't really. But do we? We'll never tell. But yeah, good old David Ferrant was kind enough to actually, I have to find something. I'd love to play it. I put together something, and I wonder if I can find it. I think I might have it. Let me just double check. Bear with me, guys. I'll try to talk as much as possible while I'm doing this, but I'd like to share it with you guys. A voiceover I wrote for David to voice over for a little documentary that I put together a few years ago. Mr. Black from the Beyond Creepy. Yeah. Why does that sound familiar? Hey, Line 39, how are you? I'll have to look into that. Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Black. Hmm, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that we'd love to have on the show. Switch things up. Like I said, the last few years we haven't had as many guests as we have in the past. I mean, we still have a lot of guests on, but not quite as many as we used to. And I think that's mostly on our part. Time to do research and stuff like that. It's like crunched now because we don't really have time with all that's going on. But we try to do our best in terms of getting people like tonight. Carol Malone was supposed to be on. We thought it would be very interesting, but unfortunately, and in the past, when this happened, we'd put them on the fucking stake. You know, we put them on the stake, and can't do that now. We got to be politically correct now, don't we? No, we don't. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I can find that little excerpt. Let me just bear with me. I'll just keep going on. Okay. So anyways, yeah, we would because I mean we've had a couple guests on in the past. One particular person we had on John Robert Colombo, who's a famous writer here in Canada. I don't know if he's still with us or not, but he was on the show. And this is when, back in the BTR Blog Talk days when we first starting out. I think it was like probably our second or third season, and we were having technical difficulties with the Blog Talk network. They weren't the most reliable at times. So, anyways, I had to deal with it, and I left Alex to sort of entertain John Colombo, and oh my god, this John Colombo just like ripped Alex a new fucking what. He just ripped him another one. What kind of fucking radio show is this? Not even a radio show. This is puppy ass shit. Blah blah blah. I kept going on, and it's like Alex, you could just see him just shrinking, in the background. It's like, wow, what an asshole this guy is. And he was completely unprofessional about the way he acted. And it's those sort of things that we sort of collect and say, look, if these people who seem to be entitled in their position of being, wow, like everybody wants a piece of me, they want me on their show, blah, 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 attitude, then you're going to just get it back. You're going to get it back. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Have I found it? Don't tell me I lost it. No. No, I know I have it. It's just a matter of finding. No. No, I don't know. I'll find it. I know I have it somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. But it was yeah. No, it's not there. Okay, let me just look here. Oh, I found it. Hold on a sec. No, I think it's. Let me just. I'm gonna bring it up here, and I think it's at the end of Nocturnal Night Shots. Let me just. Yeah, it is. I'm just going to. Okay, I'm just going to. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna pull it out here. That didn't sound good. Did it? No. Okay, hold on a sec. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to freeze this section here, and I'd like to play David's thing. It's just a matter of finding it, though. I found it. It's just a matter of getting to it. Okay, there we go. Delete. Okay, there we go. All right, I've got it. Okay. I'll play the visual. Why not? And this was a part of Nocturnal Night Shots too, the second episode. It's at the end of it. And the good thing is, obviously, people are listening via New Visions Radio will be able to hear it. Okay, let me just make sure it's okay. So it's rendering. It's not very long, but again, his David's voice was really, really cool. Let's see. He never shows himself, but he does great narrative. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that Matt was doing a live show. I popped in there for a bit. Yeah. And again, if anybody would like to join me, by all means, hit the link and I will play David's thing here in a sec. I've got it. Okay. Let's see if we can load it up here. Here we go.
It hides nestled among the century-old weeping willows, watching in its lonely state, waiting to share its story. The tragedy soaked within its hollow walls. Before this ancient and abandoned farmhouse is lost forever. Listen carefully as you walk down that old dark road to find what secrets it harbors.
Yeah, so that was at the end of Nocturnal Night Shots too. and which you can watch here on our YouTube channel. It's in the Nocturnal Night Shots playlist, I believe. Let me see. Should be. Once again, sorry guys, the guest this evening is not showing up, it seems like, which is unfortunate. Okay, where are we? There we go. Nocturnal Night Shots. And it's episode 2, the House of Secrets. House of Secrets is the episode to watch. Yeah, is the episode to watch to see that full episode of that again, which is pretty cool. It is based on the a house called what we called the house, the old farmhouse called the Tremaine House. We called it, and basically, the house had a lot of secrets. In fact, it was a place where there was unfortunately 2 suicides, 2 different times, 2 women. One was in the barn, one of the horse barn, and the other one was a woman who hung herself from the TV antenna on top of the farmhouse later on. And that sort of thing. Yeah, why? Why 2 suicides? And it just makes you wonder, okay, is there something malevolent in the house, something unusual in the house? But how I discovered the house was by chance, really. I was just taking a drive, looking for old abandoned farmhouses, just to, for some photography or whatever else. And I drove by this old house that looked really intriguing, like the location. I'm like, wow, maybe I should, drive up to the house and, see if they don't mind if I take some photos of the surrounding area. It's fantastic. So I drove up, and I wouldn't drive across. There's an old wooden bridge that crosses river, and I drove slowly up onto it, and I'm like, I don't like the sound of this bridge. I don't know if I'm going to make it across this bridge. So I backed up, parked the car on the driveway on the other side of the bridge, walked up to the house, went to the front door of this old farmhouse. I'm like, wow, this place is amazing. Victorian. Yeah, the structure is Victorian, I believe, and it was built in the late 1800s, and it was in great shape. And I at that time I didn't know it was abandoned. So I went up to the front door, and I peered in the window because the front door had a window so you could see. And I'm like, I'm knocking on the door, and I noticed that there's no furniture or anything in the house. I'm like, okay, so nobody lives here then. It's essentially abandoned. So I walked around to the side of the building, to the side of the house, and there was a pantry. There's a pantry add-on in the back, and the door was ajarred a little bit. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. And this is during the day. This is afternoon, early afternoon. And I walk into the house, and of course, there's nothing, just nothing, nothing but the sound of the fire alarm. The batteries were dying in the fire alarm in the house, and you can hear that beep 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 beep, and that was it. And I'm like, okay. I mean, how long has that been going for? Because I know this house has not been lived in for quite a while. And it was in great shape still. Great shape. Um, you know, overgrowth surrounding the house, of course. There was still equipment, farming equipment in the equipment barn, but it was like falling apart. Um, there was nothing left in the horse barn, and the shed. There was like not a shed, garage, like a two-door garage, separate garage, and there was nothing in there. But there was a plow, like a huge ass plow for plowing the cornfields. It was still sitting in the and a few other items sitting in the in the equipment shed. But going back to the house, like I said, all you can hear is this fire alarm, just boop boop, because the batteries are dying out. And so, anyways, I'm walking around, snapping some shots, and then I make my way upstairs. And what was neat about this house was what I noticed when I looked in the front door. Initially, I saw a stairwell going up to the top floor, and then in the back of the house, in the kitchen, there was another stairwell that went up to the back of the house. It was adjacent with the front stairwell, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Beautiful home. If you had the money, man, I would have bought it. Reno did or whatever. Beautiful. Anyways, I walk up the front stairwell and I make my way up to the top floor, and I hear something in the attic. And most likely a huge ass animal, whatever whatever it was huge, and it must have sensed me because it would only move, or I'd only hear the movement when I moved, when I started walking. Because when you walk on the floors in this place upstairs, you could hear it creaked. Not all the time, and the floors were pretty damn fucking sturdy. They were in great shape. So, but there's noticeable damage um, upstairs, though. Of course, from the heating ducts that had been removed. Some of the metal had been removed from the house, and of course, birds and whatnot. Their nesting was falling through the piping and onto the floor. But so anyways, I make my way around it, and every time I walk to a certain area, you can hear this thing up in the attic. And then I'm like, okay, so where is the attic door? You know, Hopefully it's not open, because whatever is up there sounds pretty fucking big. It could have been, but it could have been a raccoon. And most likely it was, but it was a motherfucking big one. It was huge. It must have been. Because when it moved, it moved. It was pretty freaking loud. But I made my way to the one room where the attic door was, and of course the board was over. So, but when I got to the door, whatever was up there was right at that door, and it was just sitting there waiting. Like is this thing waiting for me to open that door? But I had no means of getting up there because I couldn't find a ladder or anything, and I wasn't about to fucking break my neck or anything trying to get up there at that point. Because, like I said, I was just in there quickly to snap some pictures and check out the place. And so, anyways, I continued to walk around and to the back of the house. And if you watch um the episode House of Secrets, you'll see the interior of the house, and you'll see some investigational sort of footage. Not a lot, but some. And I mean, the place. Alex was there one time. He had a really chilling experience there in one of the rooms, and some of the stuff that came out of it was pretty creepy. Um, in fact, there was an EVP from the one I went there one time with a one of the members of the team just to do a day scout of the house once again, snap some pictures and take some audio before we were going to go enter at night when everything is calm and it's easy to secure audio and stuff like that. But I figured I'd take uh, uh, some audio, and there was at one point when in the back area where there's some audio that was captured that was pretty disturbing. Um, yeah, and there was just the two of us in the house. There was another time when we were investigating it. I was walking down the front stairs down to the main level, and yeah, I don't know. Hold on a sec. Let me see. Maybe I can. I'll load it up and sort of give you guys. Let me just see. Load it up so you guys can see the interior of the house. If you let me just. Yes, Mars, it was. Yes, and I was getting to that. There was an EVP when I was walking down the front steps down to the main level, and we managed to capture an EVP that actually said my name. So that was pretty. Okay, here. Okay, here's. Let me just. Oh, this is just the trailer. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. Let's see if I can get the actual episode. Where are you, episode? Okay. I wanted to show you the interior of the house. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, or something's gonna happen.
Yeah. Do it again.
So I walked around. Just to give you and there's the bridge I was talking about earlier. It was completely unsafe driving over it. There's okay, so here's the interior.
You're with us right now? Do you hear that? You heard that?
No, that's my arm probably.
No. Over here.
What'd you hear?
I heard
A what?
a voice.
And as you can hear, you
Somebody here with us?
can hear the floor cracking.
Time that I came to this house that I discovered it. I was actually just driving down looking for some, to take some shots and photography. And something about this house, when I drove by it, I'm like, it just seems a little odd. And I saw the two big barns and everything. I said, you know what? I love the long dirt driveway, like the roadway, and then, obviously the bridge. So I go, you know what? I'm gonna drive down, park the car, walk up to the front door, knock on the door, and ask them if they don't mind if I take some shots of the property, the house, and everything else. And I walked up to the front door, and I knocked on it, and I noticed that there was no furniture. It was like bare. I'm like, okay, nobody's living here. So I walked around, and I noticed that the back kitchen door was wide open. So I walked in, hello, anybody here, sort of thing. Nobody. I said, you know what, I'm here, I'm going to take some shots, I'm going to take some photographs. And I remember coming upstairs here onto the top floor, and I remember it was really weird because I can actually hear something moving in the attic above us, and every time I moved, it would move like as if it was following me. And I'm like, okay, that's whatever it was huge, it was big, it was really big. I remember, here, follow me. I remember coming to this point over here, and because I was looking for where the attic door was, and I found it in here, and I'm like, okay. When I came here, that was closed. I mean, that wasn't open, that was closed. And whatever was up there actually followed me into this room up there and was actually at that door and was still. It did not move, and it was really freaking me out, man. It was really, I don't care what it was. But as you notice, as you can see, there's obviously animals in here. I mean, that's how they're getting down or whatever. But it was a huge animal. But it was pretty freaky being in the house by myself. We're still trying to figure out if the source is right or not, but apparently there was two separate suicides. One was apparently on the roof of the house. Both of them were female, 2 different times, not at the same time obviously, and one of them somewhere out in the barn. In fact, I remember coming here one time and going into the big barn, and there was actually some police tape.
If anybody here, you show us a sign of your presence. We really need you to make a noise. This might be your last opportunity to let anybody know you're here. They're going to tear this place
This is the
down.
main level here. Again, you can see the overgrowth on the outside of the house.
So you can say something to this.
But the light would always be on at night. The side light. I guess just to deter people, thinking that perhaps people were there, living there, or present. But the house was in good shape. I mean, it didn't suffer from graffiti or noticeable damage, human damage, that is. Like kids going in there and partying and stuff like that. There wasn't any of that sort of scenario. At least, I don't know about now. It's been a while since we've been in the house. So.
When I started walking towards this door frame and into here, is when I started feeling almost like a tingling sensation throughout my whole body. And I had goosebumps everywhere. And I kind of just stopped.
Absolutely, Line. Yep.
Now I feel something.
Absolutely. I think
I was
that's
the one that
definitely
felt
what that
something
is.
in this area here. We even tried recording, if I'm not mistaken, and we didn't really capture anything.
Yeah, here I'm feeling something.
Huh?
Here I'm feeling something.
What are you feeling?
Oh, I got goosebumps all over now.
Yeah, residual hauntings
I know what it is.
or activity is definitely a common occurrence with a lot of this. But I think the most intriguing is intelligent sort of hauntings, if you will, or communication. What seems to be communicating with you with intelligence, if you will, like responsive sort of behavior, which is rare, but it does happen. At least in my travels, my experience of investigating and researching this, it does happen. Not quite as often, obviously, as residual. Residual
It's starting to dissipate.
is a bulk of activity. A bulk takes up a bulk of the activity that people do experience
Something about the...
and document.
I feel it again. Almost like if you know that someone's behind you, and you get the sort of like the hair on the back of your head stand up, and you get goosebumps all over.
So perhaps maybe the presence might be here?
That's what it feels like. It's funny because I only get it around here.
We did, we captured some weird stuff, but I mean, I don't think anything that we can sort of equate to being something very paranormal, but what would you equate that weird feeling to? Like,
I think it
would you
scares a lot
say
of
that
people
genuinely
when you do have that sort of
explain, or do you think it's just, okay, look, it's dark, we're in this old abandoned house, all these things are just building up and it's making you feel that way?
I don't know if I would equate it to that necessarily, because we were here, I mean, this is one of the last places that we had come to. We had checked upstairs and around the house and everything, and I didn't get that feeling right up until the end. So I've been to other places like this, and I didn't see no at all. I think there was something there. It's almost as if like a big rush of current just sort of went through you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it felt, and it kind of just made me like twinge a little bit.
Maybe if you were able
and you figure this was about 10 years ago now. Holy crap, 10 years ago.
the theory that
11 years ago that we were in the house, and
whatever
that
are actually
we did see some noticeable deterioration.
manifest, to present themselves in,
Even then when we did this.
through audio or through visual or whatever else.
But we did
experience-wise.
return
But maybe that
the last
maybe that had
time
already, you had that,
pre-COVID.
going
I think it
on
was
already.
2017 or 2018.
not knowing that perhaps maybe something
We did
had
return
latched
to the
onto
house
you at
for
that point and
an
gave itself
investigation,
presence to your
and
experience.
It could be, yeah, definitely.
quite a lot more
Whatever it was,
damage. Weathering obviously the house
I could put this a long time ago.
had taken its toll on it. And in some areas of the house have become quite unstable and not very safe.
On how you can tell whether there's a spirit around you or what have you, is when you get that sort of like goosebump feeling on any particular part of your body.
This is Alex
So,
explaining
when you
the
go outside,
experience he had in this room where we're standing.
Right? But if you get it in any specific spot, then it's more or less something else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When we were here, I kind of sort of felt it just from the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it because it's not something you can really describe.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you can say, oh yeah, like a big shot.
And there's my stance. I don't, I'm not
It
really
feels like. But
intrigued. No, I'm just
equated
kidding.
it to anything, it's almost like you get this, like the back of the hair in the back of your neck, but you get that same feeling, but just all over your whole back. And that's how it felt when I was here that night, just in this area here.
And there's the back hallway with the back stairwell. That's a washroom there. that's a noticeable. You can see the noticeable damage on the floor from the ceilings, or in areas at that point. The plaster had started to collapse due to water damage, obviously.
Session here, and I don't know, maybe we might get something. Guys, if you got a question, go ahead, throw it in. This is a special EVP session for Nocturnal Night Shots, episode 2.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to lay the recorder.
And when
on-
people own houses, they don't understand it's
If anybody's got a
important
question, go
to
right ahead and ask it.
to protect the exterior
I'll
of a
start.
home,
If
because
there's
there's no
anybody
sense
here
of
with us,
doing all this work to the interior
yeah,
if you're not
please,
going to do that,
myself,
because the
Alex,
interior is
or
just
Grant.
it's
There's somebody
pointless
here with us right now.
if the exterior is not looked after. Exactly.
If there is somebody here, can you maybe tell us what your name is? Let us know who you are so we can sort of understand maybe your situation and maybe help you. And when we do EVP sessions, I think one of the best things is to have a normal conversation, because that tends to be the best point, sort of like a white noise sort of reaction effect, where the EVP sort of like play over your voices or over our voices. So, Grant, I'm going to ask you. You were here once. What did you feel?
I didn't actually go inside here. I kind of walked around the outside.
So what did you feel when you were on the outside of the house?
I didn't really feel too much. Getting closer and closer into the house,
Okay.
Especially I sat on the front porch there. As soon as I got to the front porch, I felt kind of a strange vibe, kind of it seems like something really bad happened, or like a negative energy.
Okay, so let me ask you right now then, being inside the interior for the very first time, what do you think? Like, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings, sort of?
I think immediately, as soon as I went past the kitchen in the basement, I started feeling off balance. So I felt like I was kind of losing my balance a little bit. I mean, the floor is a little uneven, but it kind of seems more of a psychological effect more than just uneven floor. Feeling off balance, and then up here I kind of feel like
yes. As I mentioned earlier, we did manage to get some information about the house. In fact, the reason why the house was abandoned and not rented out again after it, because I think what was happening was they were leasing the land is owned by one of the major train companies here in Canada, and they were leasing the houses out for the time being, up until a certain point, and then they were gonna tear them down, but they haven't now. I think they've sold the land to another party who is looking to sell for development. I don't know what they want to develop, more houses or whatever. It seems like it. I don't know, because that area is unfortunately, quickly developing up quite fast. And it's really sad to see a lot of these old historical homes, destroyed and replaced with cookie cutters. But this house was built in the late 1800s, and in fact, the reason why, as I was alluding to and mentioned earlier, that the house had seen 2 suicides by 2 females 2 different times in its history, and one of the suicides was it taken place in the one barn that you guys had seen there in the footage, and the other one was on top of the house. They climbed up the TV antenna and hung themselves from the TV antenna. And I believe that was the first one. The second one was in the barn, and I think that was the end of people living in the house. I believe. I think that was the last family that lived in the house. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of information that's still not available about that. But something to do with the barn, the suicide in the barn. In fact, the first time I'd gone up there and looked in the barn, you could still see the police tape inside the barn. In fact, you could probably still go there and see pieces of the tape, somewhere in there. I wouldn't doubt it, but you never know. So it's had a turbulent history, it seems. The first one on the TV antenna, I don't know exactly when that happened, but I'm assuming it was quite earlier. Uh, Maybe the 80s, perhaps. I don't know exactly. Other than that, a lot of is just normal farming family life that lived in that house. And I think the fields were farmed up until and even now I think there was my contact for the house was taking care of the house. He had lived across the street, and he was taking care of the fields, the surrounding cornfields around the house. He would, I guess, plant them and seed them and plow them regularly each year, and it no longer. I don't think it happens any longer. I don't know if I don't even know if the equipment is still in the barn, in the one barn there. In fact, I think the last time I went there, the equipment was gone. And again, like I said, that was what, 2018, something like that. So, but I know the property's up for sale. The house itself is not in the best condition. Like I said, over the just the past 10 years alone that we've uh, been visiting the house, it's deteriorated uh, quite fast, and it's sad. Like I said, if somebody had the money, it's just one of those houses that if you had the money and you'd renovate it. It's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful home, just absolutely beautiful. I'd probably do something different with the pantry in the back. The addition on the back is kind of lame. I'd uh, probably brick it in, um, much like the house, because it has siding, you know, aluminum siding, and it's kind of, I don't know, but it's a nice house overall, and again, built in the late 1800s. It's got a lot of character. The front, everything. No, not at all. It's very, very expensive. You're looking at an easy 2 mil just for the house. You know, you're looking, yeah, 2 mil for the house. God knows how much for the property. I mean, the acres. That has to be uh, in total. The acreage is probably, phew, God, there's a lot of land there. So, uh, and I'm being generous when I say like uh, 20 acres. That's more than generous. It's probably a shitload more than that. But you're looking at a good 2 million just for the house alone. Not to mention the barns on the property. Not that they're functional. The one barn isn't too bad, but it's really a shame. It's a lot, yeah, a lot of money, especially now, especially now. So it's really too bad. And you know what? If you're an urban explorer, it's a great place um, to check out. And like the code of conduct is you don't share the location. I don't share it because you know, too many horror stories, and you know, there's a lot of assholes and idiots out there that won't respect the property at all. Nope. And it's really, really a shame. But I mean, I know a majority of urban explorers do respect the property and wouldn't do anything to harm it, sort of thing. But there are some, you know, thrill seekers out there that would destroy the place. You know, in fact, burn it down. I wouldn't put it past some of the morons that you have to deal with this kind of shit now. It's really too bad. But anyways, uh yeah, exactly. That's the good thing about it. It was good to be able to visit it and document its behavior. And the property is just absolutely beautiful. In fact, I have some photos that I'd taken when I first visited it. It was actually no. One day I visited. It was late fall, probably ooh, late October, early November, and it was. I remember it was an extremely foggy day, and I remember going into the house and taking some shots, and in fact, I had them blown up. Quite beautiful, man. Some great shots of you know, the house itself, uh, the well that's there because it's on a well, and the water is on well water, and there's a well still there present. Um, some of the equipment left in the one barn, you know, it's just really neat to get that sort of exposure like that. Those pictures are, you know, because I mean, these are just things that we take for granted, right? I mean, look at you go into a location, oh yeah, there's lots of stuff scattered around, blah blah blah. But when you take a shot of it, it gives it a whole different meaning. You know, it's like, wow, that's really neat. Like the one shot I took was an old um, an old saw, and this saw was probably from the early 1900s, late 1800s, and it was just sitting on the windowsill of the tool barn. And I'm like, hey, you know, and the way the dull lighting was coming in from the outside, it just it made for a great shot. And you know, you sit there and I look at the picture now and I go, wow, you know, the details. So you know, to think of the people who used to live there years ago, you know, the first people that to own the house, that built the house, maybe, you know, the people who farm the land there. And that's part of the reason why we do, you know, we do a lot of research at another house called the Spruce Lane Farmhouse. Same thing. Only thankfully, this house was saved from destruction, deterioration from park from the provincial park, which is really cool. But you know, the same type of house, Victorian, I believe, and you know, it built. It's kind of similar, only yeah. I guess the structure, even the interior, is kind of the same. The layout's kind of the same. The way they were all kind of the same. You know, with you know minor details that were different, but for the most part, and you know, obviously, when people buy these houses later on, they change, you know, renovate them and make them look different. But for the most part, similar overall. The house was similar. They're almost similar. But yeah, it's really neat to see, a functioning house. Well, it's not functioning, but it functions as a museum now to give you a glimpse into what it was like to live in a house like that at the turn of the century, right? The 19th century. So, I mean, it's really neat. But anyways, I think this is it, folks. Again, want to apologize. The guest, you had to listen to me banter about some old farmhouses, but they're pretty neat. Our guest that we were supposed to have on tonight, Carol Malone, was, I don't know, no show. Kind of sucks. Kind of pisses me off. But hey, this is what happens when you do live shows. Shit like this happens. And of course, Alex was unable to join us. He had some family things that he had to attend to this evening. Next Sunday night will be our last radio program for the year for 2022. We go into our our Christmas holidays, our hiatus for the couple weeks or for a few weeks until the new year, and then we start up next year in January. And January we are officially celebrating 15 years of the show. In fact, August will be our 15th anniversary. Yes, we've already started our 15th season. It's really weird how it goes, but and once again, October 21st, we are going to have a special gathering. More details will come out for that. Obviously, the location where we're going to have it, where we'd love to have you guys come out. We're going to have a special t-shirt made up for it. And again, it will only be available on site of the meeting. We may put it up later on the merch site. So if anybody wants to buy one later on after that, I don't know. We're debating on it because I think we want to keep it limited. Again, but once again, that's October 21st. Location to be determined, but we're going to have a nocturnal gathering for all, for guests on the show who have been on the show that would like to show up, and of course you guys, the listeners and the viewers now on YouTube and Twitch and all that. If you guys can make it out, we'd love to have you, man. Sit down for a few drinks and just shoot the shit and celebrate 15 years and more to come. So yeah, I think that's it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining me in chat here. Until next Sunday night, take care, everyone, and have a good one. Stay out of trouble. Take care, everyone. It's good to see y'all.